press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi everyone. In the last video, we were discussing the steps involved in respiration, and we discussed the mechanism of breathing, and we also discussed the respiratory volumes. So the respiratory volumes like tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume and the residual volume. And we also discussed the respiratory capacities. The respiratory capacities like inspiratory capacity, expiratory capacity, functional residual capacity, vital capacity and the total lung capacity. Okay. So in this video, I would like to discuss the further steps which are involved in the process of respiration. So as I said, respiration will occur in 5 different steps. No, the first is breathing. Second one is diffusion of gases or exchange of gases between the alveoli and the blood, that is at the alveolar level. And the third one is transport of gases by the blood, and the fourth one is exchange of gases between the blood and the body tissues, and the last one is utilization of oxygen by the body cells. Okay. So the first step, mechanism of breathing, we already discussed. So now I take up the further steps, so that is exchange of gases. So let me know what is the respiratory rate. Respiratory rate. How many times we breathe per minute? It is we breathe 12 to 16 times per minute normally. Okay, so this is the normal respiratory rate. So we breathe 12 to 16 times per minute normally. So every time, when we breathe, every time we take in oxygen. Okay. Every time we breathe, we take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So the oxygen which enters into the alveoli of the lungs during inhaling will diffuses into, say this is the alveoli. So during inhalation what happens? The oxygen will enters into the lungs now. So along with the inhaled air, so this oxygen which enter into the lungs will diffuses into the blood. So the oxygen which is present in the alveoli will diffuses into the blood, and the blood will carry oxygen. The blood will carry oxygen to body tissues. In the body tissues, the oxygen from the blood diffuses into the body tissues, where the body cells utilizes oxygen for the breakdown of organic nutrients. And what are the end products? So the end products are carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay. So the cells are, body cells are, they are using oxygen for the breakdown of organic substrate to release energy. So as a result of this, carbon dioxide is continuously produced in the body cells. So as it is toxic, the carbon dioxide must be eliminated out of the body. So for its elimination, the carbon dioxide has to reach the alveoli, so that the carbon dioxide from the body tissues will diffuses into the blood, and the blood will carry carbon dioxide to the alveolar side. The blood will carry carbon dioxide to the alveolar side. So at the alveolar side, the carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into the alveoli, and from where the carbon dioxide is expelled out. Okay. So the exchange of gases takes place at 2 levels. So one is at the alveolar level. One is at the alveolar level, that is exchange takes place between the alveoli and the blood, and another is at the tissue level. Another is at the tissue level, where the gaseous exchange takes place between the blood and the body tissues. Okay. So let us discuss how the gaseous exchange takes place between the alveoli and the blood and between the blood and the body tissues. Okay. So let me explain the exchange of gases between the alveoli and the blood and between the blood and the body tissues. Okay. The exchange takes place at two levels, no? One is at the alveolar level, exchange of gases, exchange of gases between alveoli and blood. So this is at the alveolar level. So this is at the alveolar level. So here it is called external respiration. Here it is called as what? External respiration. So what is the external respiration? The exchange of gases between the lung alveoli and the blood in the pulmonary arteries is called as what? The external respiration. So apart from this, the gaseous exchange also takes place between the blood and the body tissues, that is at the tissue level. The exchange of gases between blood and body tissues, between the blood and the body tissues. So this is at the tissue level. This is at the tissue level. And this is called internal, and this is called internal respiration. Okay, so what is internal respiration here? The exchange of gases between the blood and the body tissues is called as internal respiration. So how the gaseous exchange takes place? So the exchange of gases takes place by a simple diffusion, and it is mainly dependent on pressure gradient. It is mainly dependent on pressure gradient. So the exchange of gases occurs by simple diffusion, and diffusion occurs because of difference in the partial pressure. So this time, difference in the partial pressure causes the diffusion of gases between the alveoli and the blood, and between the blood and the body tissues. So what is partial pressure? Partial pressure. So diffusion of gases occurs because of partial pressure. So before talking about the exchange of gases, you need to know what is partial pressure. So what is partial pressure then? So partial pressure is, it is the pressure exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gases. So what is partial pressure then? So it is the pressure exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gases. So you know that air. So air is a mixture of gases, right? So it not only contains oxygen and carbon dioxide. Apart from oxygen, it also contains oxygen and carbon dioxide. It also contains hydrogen, nitrogen. Okay, so it is a mixture of gases. So each gas exerts its own pressure. So oxygen exerts some pressure, carbon dioxide gas exerts some pressure, nitrogen exerts some pressure. So the pressure contributed by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called as what? partial pressure. So what is partial pressure? The pressure contributed by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called as what? The partial pressure. Okay, so it is due to the difference in the partial pressure, the diffusion of gases takes place. So the partial pressure determines the movement of gases from the atmosphere to alveoli, and from alveoli to blood, and from blood to body tissues. Understood? Okay, so this is because the gases will tend to move from a region of its higher partial pressure to a region of its lower partial pressure. So when there is a difference in the partial pressure between the two areas, the gases will tend to move from an area of its higher partial pressure to an area of its lower partial pressure. So that's how the diffusion of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood, and between the blood and the body tissues. Okay, so the diffusion occurs because of mainly the difference in the partial pressure between the two areas. So we will come to know what is partial pressure then. Then the rate of diffusion, the rate of diffusion mainly depends upon certain factors. So let us see what are those factors which affect the rate of diffusion. Factors affect the rate of diffusion. So what are the factors which affect the rate of diffusion? Any idea? Firstly, the solubility of gases. Solubility of gases. See, the gas which is more soluble, the rate of diffusion will be more. So more the soluble, the gas having high solubility, faster is the rate of diffusion. So the gas which is more soluble will diffuse at a faster rate than the gas which is less soluble. So if the gas having less solubility, the rate of diffusion will be slow. So the rate of diffusion will be slow. So more the solubility, faster the rate of diffusion, less solubility, the rate of diffusion will be less. Okay, see for example, you take example oxygen and carbon dioxide, the respiratory gases. So of the two gases, the solubility of carbon dioxide is more. Of the two gases, the solubility of carbon dioxide is more. So it is 22, nearly it is 20 to 25 times more soluble than the oxygen. Hence, it diffuses at a faster rate than the oxygen. So the diffusion of carbon dioxide is nearly 20 times more than that of the oxygen. Okay, so solubility affects the rate of diffusion. So the gas which is more soluble will diffuse at a faster rate than the gas which is less soluble. Understood clearly? Then one more factor which affect the rate of diffusion is partial pressure. Partial pressure. So what is partial pressure? So partial pressure is the pressure exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called as what? Partial pressure. Or the pressure contributed or exerted by an individual gas in a mixture of gases is called as what? Partial pressure. Okay, so this partial pressure determines the movement of gases. Okay, so from the atmosphere to alveoli, and from alveoli to blood, and from blood to body tissues. Okay, see, so the diffusion of gases occurs from alveoli to blood and from blood to body tissues is because of the difference in the partial pressure. So as I already said, the gases will tend to move from an area of its higher partial pressure to an area of its lower partial pressure. See, for example, so what is the partial pressure of oxygen? So partial pressure can be represented by a letter P, and this letter should be written before the symbol of the gas. So the partial pressure of oxygen can be represented like this. Okay, so the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli of lung is 104 millimeters of mercury, and whereas the partial pressure of oxygen in the deoxygenated blood, that is, which is in the pulmonary artery, is 40 millimeters of mercury. So now the oxygen will diffuse from higher pressure, higher partial pressure to an area of its lower partial pressure, no, so that the oxygen from the alveoli will diffuses into the blood. Okay, so it is due to the difference in the partial pressure the diffusion of gases takes place. And further, see, if there is a larger difference in the partial pressure between the two areas, the rate of diffusion will be faster. Okay, see, for example, what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli? It is 104 millimeters of mercury. So whereas the partial pressure of oxygen in the deoxygenated blood is 40 millimeters of mercury, no. So there is a large difference between the partial pressure in the alveoli and as well as in the blood. So if there is a larger difference in the partial pressure between the two areas, the rate of diffusion will be faster. If there is a smaller difference in the partial pressure between the two areas, so the rate of diffusion will be less. Okay, so one more factor that affects the rate of diffusion is the partial pressure. And another difference is thickness of the membrane. Thickness of the membrane. So the diffusion occurs through the diffusion membrane, no. For the efficient diffusion of gases to take place, the membrane should be a very thin. More the thickness of the membrane. See, if the membrane is more thick, like this, the rate of diffusion will be faster or less. If the more the membrane thickness, the rate of diffusion is slow. Okay, suppose if the membrane is very thin, the rate of diffusion will be fast. So more the membrane thickness, lesser is the rate of diffusion, and more the membrane thin, the rate of diffusion will be fast. Understood? So these are the three factors which affect the rate of diffusion. So one is the solubility of gases, another one is partial pressure, and another one is the thickness of the membrane. So these factors affect the rate of diffusion. Understood clearly? Now let us see how the exchange of gases takes place at two levels. How the gaseous exchange takes place between the alveoli and the blood, and between the blood and the body tissues. So first I explain how the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood. Exchange of gases between alveoli and blood. Understood? What it is called? External respiration. What it is called? External respiration. External respiration. So here the exchange of gases taking place at the alveolar level. So here the exchange of gases occurs between the alveoli and the blood. It's mainly dependent upon it is mainly dependent upon two factors. Okay, so one is the nature of the respiratory membrane. So let us see, and one is the nature of the respiratory membrane, and another one is the difference in partial pressure. Difference in the partial pressure. So the exchange of gases between alveoli and the blood occurs through the wall of the alveoli, right? So that the wall of the alveoli is very thin and it is highly vascularized. So highly vascularized means it is highly supplied with the blood capillaries, and each alveolus is surrounded by many blood capillaries, so many that as much as 900 ml of blood is able to participate in the gaseous exchange. Okay, so it is a highly vascularized and highly thin, and it is with the endothelial lining of the blood capillary forms the respiratory membrane. It is through the respiratory membrane the diffusion of gases occurs between the alveoli and the blood. So let us see how the respiratory membrane is formed. So what I am writing is the alveolus. So you know that alveolus is a cup-like structure, right? Each alveolus is made up of, so the wall of the alveolus, so this alveolus is a cup-like structure, and the wall of the alveoli is made up of a single layer of squamous epithelium, a type of epithelial tissue. So these cells are the squamous epithelial cells. So these cells rest on the basement membrane. The cells of the epithelial tissue, they always rest on the basement membrane. So the presence of basement membrane is a characteristic feature of the epithelial tissue. So this is the basement membrane of the alveolar epithelium that surrounds the squamous epithelial cells. Okay, so this is what the alveolar wall. So the alveolar wall is made up of which epithelium? Squamous epithelium. Is made up of squamous epithelium. It's made up of squamous epithelium, and it is one cell thick. So underlying this is the basement membrane, and surrounding the alveolus is a blood capillary. Here comes the blood capillary. Okay. The wall of the blood capillary is also made up of a single layer of squamous epithelium. The wall of the alveoli is also made up of a single layer of squamous epithelium. So the squamous epithelium that lines the blood capillary is called as endothelium. So this is called as what? The lining of the blood capillary is called as endothelium. Okay, so the cells of endothelium also rest on the basement membrane. Also rest on the basement membrane. So this is the basement membrane of the blood capillary that surrounds the endothelial cells. Okay. So the basement membrane of the alveolar epithelium that surrounds the squamous epithelial cells and the basement membrane of the blood capillary that surrounds the endothelial cells is together called, so this thing, it is called basement substance. What it is called? Basement substance. Basement substance. So this is the blood capillary. This is the blood capillary. And here comes the blood cells. RBCs, red blood cells. See here, the respiratory membrane is formed of three membranes here. So one is the squamous epithelium that lines the wall of the alveoli and the endothelial lining of the blood capillary and the basement substance present in between these two. Okay, so the respiratory membrane is formed of squamous epithelium. So squamous epithelium that lines the alveoli, and endothelial lining of blood capillary, endothelial lining of the blood capillary and the basement substance present in between them. Basement substance present in between them. Okay, so all the three membranes forms the respiratory membrane. So this is the respiratory membrane. So for the efficient exchange of gases to take place, the respiratory membrane should be very thin. Okay. So the respiratory membrane, the thickness of respiratory membrane is less than 1 millimeter. So it is nearly, the thickness of the respiratory membrane is 0.2 millimeter thickness. So what is the thickness? It is nearly 0.2 millimeter thickness, less than a millimeter, or less than 1 millimeter. So as it is very thin, it allows an efficient exchange of gases. So the gases will exchange easily through this thin respiratory membrane. Understood clearly? So what is the respiratory membrane is made up of? Squamous epithelial lining that lines the wall of the alveoli, squamous epithelium that lines the wall of the alveoli, and the endothelial lining of the blood capillary and the basement substance present in between them. So as it is thin, so the gases will easily exchange between the alveoli and the blood. Okay, understood clearly? And diffusion occurs because of difference in the partial pressure, right? See, the partial pressure of oxygen in the atmosphere is 159 millimeters of mercury, and that of carbon dioxide is 0.3 millimeters of mercury. See, during breathing, so what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the atmospheric air? It is 159 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the atmospheric air? It is 0.3 millimeters of mercury. And so during breathing, we inhale how much volume of air? We inhale 500 ml of air. So this is the tidal volume. Okay, so during breathing, when we breathe normally, we inhale how much volume of air? We inhale 500 ml of air. So this is what the tidal volume. So of the 500 ml, only 350 ml will reach us the alveoli of the lungs. Only 350 ml will reach us up to the alveoli of the lungs, and this 350 ml of fresh atmospheric air get mixed with the air which is already present in the lungs. So after normal expiration, some volume of air that remains inside the lungs? No. So that is what? The functional residual capacity. So what it is called? It is a functional residual capacity. So what is functional residual capacity? You just recall FRC. So it is the volume of air remains in the lungs after normal expiration. So it is equal to ERV. It is the air which we can expel out by forcible expiration, and RV. So this is the volume of air which always remains in the lungs even after forcible expiration. So this is the volume of air which remain in the lungs after the normal expiration. So it is roughly, it is approximately it is 2500 ml. Okay, so this 350 ml of fresh air will get mixed with the air which is already present in the alveoli. So and that air it is rich in, that is the air which is present in the alveoli, no? So that is called as alveolar air. Okay, so that is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so inhale only 500 ml, of which only 350 ml will reach up to the alveoli of the lungs, and 350 ml will get mixed with the air which is already present, that is nearly that is roughly that is 2500 ml of air, so which is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's why the composition changes here. So here in the alveolar air, the partial pressure of oxygen decreases. It is 104 millimeters of mercury. 104 millimeters of mercury, and partial pressure of carbon dioxide increases. So in the atmospheric air it is how much? Only 0.3 millimeters of mercury, no. So when we inhale air, so the freshly entered air get mixed with the air which is already present. Okay, so where that air it is rich in carbon dioxide, no. So the partial pressure of carbon dioxide changes to 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so now see what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the atmospheric air? It is 159 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolar air? It is 104 millimeters of mercury, so that the air from the atmosphere enters into the lungs. And now see the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. It is how much? It is 0.3 millimeters of mercury in the atmospheric air, and whereas in the alveolar air, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is how much? It is 40 millimeters of mercury, so that the carbon dioxide diffuses out. Understood? Okay, so you will come to know the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmospheric air and the alveolar air. Okay, so let us explain the exchange of gases between the alveoli and the blood. So from alveoli to how the oxygen from the alveoli diffuses into the blood, and carbon dioxide, how the carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into the alveoli. So let us see. See in this diagram, so what is the partial pressure of oxygen here in the alveolar air? So this is the alveolus. So what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolus? It is 104 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the alveolar air? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. And when the blood, so the blood which comes to the lungs now, it is deoxygenated blood. So the blood which comes to the lungs is the deoxygenated blood. Okay, so that deoxygenated blood having more of carbon dioxide and less oxygen. Okay, so the deoxygenated blood to the lungs is brought about by the pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. So as I said, it is deoxygenated blood, no. So it is having more of carbon dioxide and less oxygen. So that the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more here than oxygen. That is, what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide here? It is 45 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the deoxygenated blood? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so here you can find the difference in the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolar air and in the deoxygenated blood. So in the alveolar air, what is the partial pressure of oxygen? It is 104 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the deoxygenated blood? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. So that the oxygen from the alveoli diffuses into the blood. Okay, so once the oxygen diffuses into the blood becomes oxygenated now. So now this blood is having a more oxygen. And similarly, so what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the alveolar air? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the deoxygenated blood? It is 45 millimeters of mercury. So that the carbon dioxide diffuses from an area of its higher partial pressure to an area of its lower partial pressure. So that the carbon dioxide from the blood will diffuses into the alveoli. Okay, so this is how the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood in the pulmonary arteries. So this is the gaseous exchange at the alveolar level. So now the carbon dioxide diffuses into the alveoli and oxygen will diffuses into the blood. Okay, so that the blood which leaves the lung, no, it is oxygenated blood. It is having more oxygen and less carbon dioxide. So now the partial pressure of oxygen here changes to 95 millimeters of mercury. And so here partial pressure increases. So in the deoxygenated blood, how much it is? 40 millimeters of mercury. So as the deoxygenated blood, when at the alveolar site it receives the oxygen, no, so it becomes oxygenated blood. So this oxygenated blood is having more oxygen than the carbon dioxide. So here the partial pressure of oxygen increases to 95 millimeters of mercury and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide decreases to 40 millimeters of mercury. It decreases to 40 millimeters of mercury. So what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the oxygenated blood? 95 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the oxygenated blood? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. Okay, so it is due to the difference in the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the alveoli and the blood. So the diffusion of gases takes place. So the oxygen from its higher partial pressure, that is from the alveolar air, it diffuses into the blood. Okay, it is having a lower partial pressure of 40 mmHg, and carbon dioxide from the blood will diffuses into the alveoli. Understood clearly? So this is what the exchange of gases between the alveoli and the blood in the pulmonary artery. So this is called as what? External respiration. So what it is called? External respiration. And let us see how the exchange of gases takes place at the tissue level. Exchange of gases at the tissue level. Exchange of gases at tissue level. So what it is called? So here the exchange of gases takes place between the blood and body tissues. So what it is called? It is called internal respiration. It is called internal respiration. Right. So let us see how the gaseous exchange takes place at a tissue level. See, the oxygenated blood from the lungs is carried to the heart by the pulmonary vein. So the pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood from the lung to the heart. To which chamber? To the left atrium. You know that in humans the heart is 4 chamber. This is the right atrium, this is left atrium, this is left ventricle, and this is right ventricle. So the oxygenated blood from the lungs enters to the left atrium by the pulmonary vein, and from the left atrium it will enter into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it is carried to all the parts of the body by the aorta and its branches. So these are the systemic arteries. The systemic arteries will carry the oxygenated blood to body tissue. So the systemic arteries are the branches of the aorta which carry oxygenated blood. Okay. So when the blood reaches the different body tissues, so in the tissues, what is the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body tissues? So the partial pressure of oxygen is less in the body tissues because the body tissues, the cells of the tissues are using oxygen for the production of energy, no. So as a body cells are utilizing oxygen, more oxygen, the partial pressure of oxygen in the in the body tissues is 40 millimeters of mercury. So it is due to the breakdown of organic nutrients, the carbon dioxide is continuously produced by the body cells. So it's having the body tissues having more carbon dioxide. So and its partial pressure in the body tissues is 45 millimeters of mercury. So what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the body tissues? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the body tissues? It is 45 millimeters of mercury. Now, what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the oxygenated blood? It is 95 millimeters of mercury. And what is the partial pressure of oxygen in the body tissues? It is 40 millimeters of mercury. So that the oxygen from the blood will diffuses into the body tissues. So, wherein the cells utilizes the oxygen for the breakdown of organic nutrients to release energy, and the carbon dioxide which is produced as an end product. Okay, so here what is the end product? Carbon dioxide. So that it is due to the cellular oxidation, carbon dioxide is continuously producing in the cells. Okay, so that what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide here? It is 45 mmHg. It is more than the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the oxygenated blood. Okay, so now the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is more in the tissues than in the oxygenated blood, no. So that the carbon dioxide from the body tissues will diffuses into the blood. Okay, so the oxygen from the blood diffuses into the body tissues, and carbon dioxide from the body tissues will diffuses into the blood again because of the difference in the partial pressure between the blood and the body tissues. Okay, so the gases will move from their higher partial pressure to a region of their lower partial pressure. So that's how. So this is how the exchange of gases takes place at the tissue level. So this is called as what? Internal respiration. So when the carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood, again the blood becomes deoxygenated, so which is rich in carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide rich blood, deoxygenated blood, is carried to the right atrium of the heart by the larger veins like superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. And the blood from the right atria will enter into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle the pulmonary artery will carry the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Again the gaseous exchange takes place in the lungs. Once again the blood become oxygenated, and then it goes to the left atria, left ventricle, and through the aorta and its branches it reaches the different body tissues, where again the exchange of gases takes place. Once again the blood becomes deoxygenated, and further it is carried to the right atria, right ventricle, and through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. Okay, so this is how the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood, and between the blood and the body tissue. So this is what the exchange of gases at the alveolar level between the lung alveoli and the blood in the pulmonary artery is called as external respiration, whereas exchange of gases between the tissues, blood and the body tissues is called as internal respiration. Okay, so understood clearly how the gaseous exchange takes place? Gaseous exchange takes place, exchange of gases mainly takes place because of the difference in the partial pressure between the two areas. Understood clearly? So this is what the exchange of gases between alveoli and the blood, and between the blood and the body tissues. Okay, so in our next video I will explain the transport of gases by the blood. So once the gas diffuses into the blood, how the blood will carry so these respiratory gases, so that I will explain in our next video. Understood? Okay, thank you.